Welcome to another episode of Lunch with the Shark. Join us as we dive deep into discussions about business, accounting, and finance to help you build a business that thrives. Now sit back and have a bite with your host, the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa.
Well, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to a new edition of Lunch with the Shark. I am your host, Vidal, the Shark CFO Espinosa. And I am really happy to be with you on this Monday afternoon, December the 7th. It's great to be here with you. It's actually a somewhat gloomy day here in Real del Mar, down in Baja. But you should actually see the view that we have through our condo. We are so fortunate and over most of it grateful to have the opportunity of being here. Regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's happening, things happen for a reason. And believe it or not, I'm actually not looking at the camera or looking at you, because I'm actually looking at the view. And before the end of the week, we're gonna actually show you the view that we have here, so you can see what I'm talking about. Things happen for a reason, and nothing that it's easy, nothing that it's worth it, it's actually easy. Nothing that it's worth it, it's actually easy. So I'm pretty sure that this little bump in the road that we have without a home, it's going to be worth it. I'm pretty sure that the house that we have selected and that we have in contract, it's the one for the next phase. And that's why it's not easy. So if things are not going the way they're going for you at this point in time, be grateful for what you have. And as Tony Robbins says, change your expectations for appreciations. Yes, I'm not sleeping in my bed. Yes, I don't have a closet where I can pull clothes off. At least I have a bed. At least I have a roof to protect me. And at least I have some clothes in the closet here that I can wear. So if I change my expectations for appreciations, everything is great. Last Friday, we had a little hiccup. I was trying to cross the border, and according to every single app, news media, news outlet, internet, it said that the border wait to cross from Tijuana to San Diego by foot was 15 to 20 minutes. I stood in line for 2 hours. And I think I still had 30 to 45 minutes left to cross the border. Needless to say, I did not cross the border. And from there, things started getting a little bit down the hill. But if I would have let that ruin my whole day, it would have been a lousy, crappy day. And just for a moment, I did blew a gasket with Jeff, but I realized that, first of all, he wasn't at fault. Second, he did the best he could. And third, what was the worst that it could happen? Nothing happened, really. Nothing really bad happened. Nothing at all. And it actually reminded me of my sister-in-law, Eugenia. Hi, Eugenia. She's in Guadalajara. She's the wife to my brother, Gilberto. And she actually had to go to the U.S. from Guadalajara to San Diego, right? And she called me a couple of days before she traveled. They traveled. It was a business. It was a necessary trip. And she asked me, hey, are they letting people cross the border from San Diego into Tijuana, from Tijuana into San Diego? And I said, no. Only essential travel. And she said, well, I have the airplane ticket that it's from Guadalajara to Tijuana, and then we're going to cross the border through the CBX, which is the bridge. And I said, well, what's the worst that it could happen? Damn, It actually happened. They did not let her cross the border because she's not U.S. citizen nor legal resident of the United States. She only has a visa. She actually had to hop back into another airplane to bring her back to Guadalajara and then wait until the following morning to take another flight from Guadalajara into LAX. That's the worst that it could happen. But you know what? I was really proud of her because it did not make her trip be ruined. She didn't let that little hiccup ruin her trip. She actually came into the US, she went to LA, she did her business and came back into Mexico through San Diego. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen, it's in your mind. The worst that can happen, it's in your brain. The worst that can happen, it's in your mindset. There are some people that everything is the worst. Everything. There's always a problem for that problem that has a problem inside the problem. Everything is a problem. And with that mindset, with that attitude, you're going to leave in a problem. Or basically, you're not going to live. Basically, you're not going to enjoy your life. And this week, we're actually going to talk about enjoying your business. How? Through budgeting. How? Through projections. How? Through planning. And I think we are in the right moment of budgeting for the next 5 to 10 years. Mind you, I am not going to ask you to budget for the next 5, 10 years because I'm pretty sure you don't even have a budget for the following weeks, months, or 1 year. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about budgeting for the next year. And next year, it's not going to be like 2020. No, it's not. Next year, it's going to be an unprecedented year. Next year, it's going to be a year based zero. What do I mean about a year based zero? You need to forget everything that you've done. You need to forget everything about 2020 and the past, and you need to start from scratch. Nobody knows what the hell is going to happen during the first or second quarter of 2021. You need to actually budget for the worst. You need to prepare for the worst. You need to actually know or at least realize that maybe 2021, the first couple of months, semester, are going to be worse than the whole 2020. And let me tell you one thing. I don't know for who it was worst or a very bad year for 2020. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of restaurateurs out there. There's a lot of hair salons. There's a lot of gyms. There's the movie theaters. There's a lot of industries that were severely affected by this pandemic. But service providers, I think that they've had one of the best years ever. There was actually a survey on the CPA website, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and most accounting firms have seen a substantial growth in their revenue and in their client base. Why is that? Well, good accountants are very hard to come by. That's for sure, right? If you're not intelligent, but if you are a proactive business owner, which pretty much every entrepreneur or business owner say that they are, but they're not, believe me. If you truly are a proactive business owner, entrepreneur, you're actually going to utilize your accountant. You're actually going to ask them to support you, and you're going to listen to their advice. Why? Because as accountants, we actually know your numbers. If we actually are hands-on, right? And we are able to tell you where you're hurting if we know how to read financial statements, if we know your business, if we know your industry. Now, how are we going to know that? Accountants, we should act as private investigators. We have to be sort of your spiritual guidance when it comes to business. There's nothing worse than not measuring your business growth through numbers. And I am not referring as to how many times are you turning your tables if you're a restaurateur. How many times do you need to stock up your shelves if you are a wholesaler or retailer? I don't mean that. We accountants translate your day-to-day activities into what matters, which is what? Monies. That's what we do. So budgeting, it's actually that. Budgeting, it's a projection. It's like the fortune teller telling you, hey, which it's up to you, right? Just understand, interpret my comment here. They're like fortune tellers. They predict the future, right? It's funny because I've seen memes around the fortune tellers. It's like there's a fortune teller in the Otay Ranch shopping center, and it's always closed. So I'm pretty sure that maybe she knows when somebody wants a service, he appears there. But I've never seen them. I think they are very good fortune tellers. So a budget, it's fortune telling, predicting or projecting, not predicting, projecting the future in your business results, in your business numbers, okay? And how do we do it? Why do we do it? When a business that is already up and running, you can make assumptions about future revenue based on recent trends in your business. That will be the very top part of your profit and loss. So we are going to utilize our profit and loss, our statement of revenue or income statement to prepare our budget. It's very, very simple. We've actually covered this on other episodes. You can actually look them up. There's Facebook posts that I've spoken about a budget. And what I said at the beginning is, let's forget about the past. Let's start at zero, which is easier for you to prepare a 2021 budget, prediction, okay? And it's all based on your goals. It's all based on what you truly wish and desire for your business. I was on a phone call with one of our clients a couple of months ago, and he's very intelligent, right? But he's not congruent nor focused. He goes around, swirls, and he's all over the place, not focused. So we've been trying to do a budget for this client, and I haven't been able to, because how am I going to do a budget if I do not know his goals for his company when it comes to revenue? I actually know what's his accounts receivable, which is their collections policies. Just like the clients give a deposit and then they spread it over 6 months. That's easy for us to project. That's very easy for us to do. Like, that's a cash flow projection. But it's different than a budget. Budget, it's a projection. Cash flow is how you're going to translate that budget, that projection, into your bank account. So there's two different things, okay? One is the actual budget for the year, and second, it's your actual cash flow projections, which is, let me give you an example. Let's start by doing a budget, okay? So the first thing is, what are my annual sales goals? Oh, I want to, and this is how it was positioned to us by them, by the client. Oh, I said, hey, your sales for this year are $100,000. And this is an example, okay? I said, oh, we're going to 10x it. I'm like, come on, really, dude? Is like 10x it, 100,000? How are you going to do it? When an comes after I'm going to 10x it, that's just a wish. That's just a desire. It's not a goal, because 10xing it, it's $1 million. If you grew 5, 10, 20% in this year, show me with a plan how the hell you're going to 10x it. That's an illogical growth that does not make sense. Okay, so be realistic. So we agreed that they were going to 3 times it, so 300,000. Okay, so based on that, I said, well, your collection period for our cash flow projection, it's going to be every 6 months. Okay, every 6 months, we're going to generate revenue of $150,000. So month 1, $150,000. Month 7, $150,000. And this is for cash flow and budgeting. So $150,000 for the first month, $150,000 for the 7th month, right? And then we said, you know what? Based on your history, based on your numbers, based on your previous years, we have some sales during month 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to do 10%. Okay, so we consider that. That's our revenue budget. Simple. $100,000 for the $150,000 for the first month, $150,000 for the 7th month, and then from month 2 to the number 6, we considered $5,000 per month, and then from month 8 to 12, another $5,000 per month, right? So based on that, we know their history on how much it's going to cost them to fulfill those agreements, and in admin fees or admin expense. Jose Luis, saludos, hello. Actually, people, you should follow Crumbles TJ. They have the most amazing apple crumbles. I think they have a special for the Christmas season. Follow them on Facebook, Crumbles TJ. They are to die for. We actually going to stop by probably tomorrow or Wednesday and get a couple for the house. So saludos, Jose Luis. So continuing with the budgeting is 150. So since we know their numbers, we know that probably 5% of those sales are going to go to admin support, another 5%. So based on your sales, based on your revenue, that's how you're going to calculate how much money or how much it's going to cost you to fulfill in those agreements, fulfill on those products, and your rent, your fixed costs. Remember, we already explained what was a fixed cost. Fixed cost is the expenses that we know for sure we're going to incur, whether we generate revenue or not. That's fixed cost. Rent, utilities. The utility company, it's not going to say, oh, since you did not generate revenue, I am not going to charge you. They are going to charge you the minimum fee or whatever you consume in electricity, water, gas if you have any gas, and your internet, your telephones, your cell phones. All those are fixed costs. They happen regardless of whether you generate revenue or not. Now, variable costs are any cost that you incurred based on your revenue. Let's say that you sell coffee mugs, okay? If you don't sell any coffee mugs, you don't need to buy any coffee mugs from your suppliers. If you sell coffee mugs and you did sell 10 coffee mugs, you need to buy 10 coffee mugs from your supplier. Therefore, that it's a variable cost. Now, if you manufacture the coffee mugs and you have to manufacture 10, well, you need labor, you need materials, those are variable costs, okay? So everything in your P&L from the cost of sales and admin fees are going to be based on fixed costs and your revenue. Okay, so that's simple. Now, you need to know those numbers. But remember, fuck your numbers, right? That's why we're here for. That's why your accountant should be there. Be very, let me be very clear. Your bookkeeper, it's not your accountant. Your bookkeeper, it's not able to analyze what I'm telling you. There's different things that a bookkeeper, accountant / controller, CFO does. Bookkeeper, it's just data entry, okay? If you have a bookkeeper, they're not going to be able to actually accurately provide you the data that I'm asking you to, okay? So what you need to do is you need to actually get an accountant. A bookkeeper, it's just data entry. A bookkeeper will not actually convert your day-to-day operations, transactions from the activities into monetary. Only an accountant is capable of doing so, okay? So be very careful. If you only have a bookkeeper, okay, and they're just utilizing the bank statements to download that information, data entry, and that's it, okay? So based on that, that's how you create a budget. I think I explained it as simple as possible, okay? So there's 6 simple tips will help you put together a top-notch small business budget. First of all, you need to know your industry. And at the same time, you need to check your industry standards, okay? So what most people do, we belong to a chamber of commerce associated or an association associated to our industry, right? If you are an architect, you belong to the College of Architects, maybe. If you're an accountant, you belong to the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. Those institutions, they actually have standards. They actually know the average for different type of offices. They are an amazing resource for you to get information on your budget. How are other firms doing? How other architect, design, planning firms are doing? How's the retail industry doing? And based on that, you can say, hey, fuck, I'm way under, or fuck, I'm doing amazing based on the average. You can use their data for your budget and to analyze how you're doing. Number 2, you can make the spreadsheet. Use a spreadsheet. If you like doing it by hand, be my guest. We do it both ways. We do it in Excel sheet, and then we do it by hand as well, because when we are planning, when we are doing our session for planning for the year, we actually use a whiteboard and we start writing down. For instance, we separate our products by types: low level, medium level, high level, entity structures, visas, anything that we provide, any service that we provide, we group it. And then we say, hey, based on our historicals, we have 20% in low tier, we have 30% in high tier, in medium tier, we have 50% in high tier. We are going to do or aim to 10 new business structures per month, blah, 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 blah. And that's also how we're going to budget and project to aim and utilize our resources for marketing, okay? Now, number 3, always consider some slack, okay? A goal must be written, okay? A wish, it's just out there. A goal must be written, okay? And always give yourself a break. Okay, now, if you are a super competitive individual like I am, you're going to aim to always make your goals, right? Then give yourself slack. If we are going to 5x it, then say, you know what, I'm going to 4x it. Knowing that most people will aim for that. Okay, 4. There's always a 1%, one exit room. Okay, so just give yourself some slack. Look to cut costs. Okay, number 4. Everybody and their mother are trying to cut costs right and left, up and down, any way possible. Be very careful when cutting costs. When you cut costs, you need to realize that certain areas might be affected, and you need to be okay with it. You need to understand that down the line, this can come back and bite you. For instance, let's go back to us manufacturing these mugs, okay? Let's say that we utilize certain ceramic materials for this mug, right? And we get a order from Starbucks, that's Starbucks, okay? And they say, you know what, Vidal, we want 1 million mugs. Okay, awesome. So instead of continuing with my current supplier for this ceramic, okay, I say, well, fuck, it's 1 million mugs. I gave them a 10% discount from our list price because they order 1 million mugs. I need to make it somewhere in my greediness in the business, right? So I go and look for the cheapest vendor for ceramic to build, to manufacture these mugs. And when I'm manufacturing them, 50% of them explode in the oven. Shit, that cost me a shitload of money, right? So what you need to analyze is where and how you're going to cut costs. You are better off cutting costs, not in your admin, payroll, unless you need to, you can unify and get people to do other people's jobs, and you're very careful into that. So we'll probably discuss that in the next couple of days. So analyze where you're going to cut costs. I've actually told you about the story where somebody called me, a client of ours, and they called me and they said, Vidal, Mexico and asking me to cut cost across the border, across the line, 20%. Good for them. How are you going to do it? That's why I'm calling you. Well, to begin with, let's start by your suppliers. So you're going to call your ceramic suppliers and say, hey, I'm going to buy you the same amount of containers of ceramic, but I need a 20% discount. What are they going to do? They're going to laugh in your face. Or are you going to look for a new supplier that is going to give you 20% discount for 1 or 2 containers? So it's not possible, first of all. Second, how are you going to do to cut your costs by 20% in your electricity or utility bills? What are you going to call CFE in Mexico, or are you going to call SDG&E in San Diego and say, hey, I'm cutting costs 20%. So I need for you to cut me costs by 20% in my electric bill. They're not going to do it. So you need to be realistic how much percentage they're going to give you. Now, they might cut you some slack and 5%, 3%, move you around on other plans, not to lose you a client, but you need to be realistic. Number 5, review the business periodically. People, if you don't review your financials at least once a quarter, you won't know how you're doing. It's not for you to make those financials. It's for your accountant, not your bookkeeper. No, your accountant to do those financials, provide them to you, and read them to you accordingly. Okay? Now, we can be as proactive as we can, but if you, the client, the business owner, it's not seeking out to the consultant, advisor, accountant for them to help you understand those numbers, we can't do anything. We can't help you if you are not liking to be helped. Okay? Number 6, shop around for services and supplies. If your aim is to cut costs, shop around. Okay? But be very careful. Compare apples to apples. Compare pears to pears, carrots to carrots, ceramic to ceramic. Okay? This ceramic must be certain qualities. The ceramic that the new supplier is going to provide you must be identical or equal. Same with attorneys, same with accountants, same with the architects. Compare experience, compare one-to-one, apples to apples. If they're cheaper, doesn't mean that you're going to save money. Trust me, that has happened to us. You're too expensive. There's a reason we're expensive. There's a reason why we charge what we charge. Oh, a couple of years down the line, we need your help. They screwed up. Yeah, because whatever, right? So the bottom line, budgeting is an easy but essential process that business owners use to forecast and then match current and future revenue to expenses. A budget only works if you prepare it and month to month, quarter to quarter, every semester, you match it. And obviously the reality, it's going to be different, and I hope not by much, through what you budgeted. Okay? So that is going to tell you and give you more data. Where did you go off? If your cost is higher, what's happening? If your revenue is higher, amazing. If you're keeping your revenue higher and your costs equal, then you are doing great. Okay? You are in a good way to get financial freedom and financial success. Okay? Find the right advisor that fits you. Finding the right advisor that fits your needs, it's not hard. You just need to be willing to invest on us. And if it's not us, on good advisors. Good advisors. People, get your head out of your ass. You must be willing to listen to their advice. Sometimes our advice is harsh. Sometimes our advice hurts your ego. I don't care. Nothing, it's about you. It's about your business. It's not about you. And if you take it personal, like some clients have, you're screwed. You're not the right fit for us, right? So follow us on Instagram, and you'll get information completely different than Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, what else? Spotify, and all other social medias. Okay, so today we're gonna end up our lunch with a shark with a quote from Sir Richard Branson, and he said, business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming. There's always another one coming. People, it's been great seeing you. Have an amazing week. Have an amazing day. Bon appetit. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to Lunch with a Shark. If you would like to set up a consultation with the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa, visit his website www.invictus-advisors.com, and don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn.